Hi everyone, welcome to week 4 of distance learning. I hope you all are doing well. If you all have any struggles with having to watch siblings or work other jobs or other things that I should know about, please email me and let me know so that we can talk about it. As we go into the next couple weeks or the rest of the school year, things are going to be graded. So if you're not keeping up and doing well, then grades will have a negative impact. If you're talking to any of your friends who are saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm not doing any work for school," and are totally blowing off the assignments we're giving you, then please let them know that things are going to be graded, and especially for those folks who have not so great grades right now, that could really impact them negatively. So please keep doing what you're doing if you are crushing class right now and participating and being active. I really appreciate that, and you're going to be better off for it in the long run. So today we're going to talk about supply and demand together. I want to put those two curves together so that we can see how they work. So we're going to start by making a very basic graph. There we go. We're going to do hand sanitizer. We're going to put price over here. Quantity over there. Cool. So let's talk about demand first. So our demand curve is going to go like this, right? This is going to be D for demand, and that demand curve is going downhill, and that's showing that people will want more things, will demand more goods or services if the price is lower. And then we'll draw our supply curve. This curve is showing that when the prices are greater, producers are willing to produce more. Now, what we haven't talked about, need to talk about, is this point. This point right here is called the equilibrium. It will be labeled with a EQ. So the equilibrium point is a point at which the amount of goods and services that are produced are equal to the amount of goods and services that are demanded. In other words, we produce the same amount, or producers produce the same amount quantity of hand sanitizers as consumers want or are demanding. If that's the case, then the producers sell as many items as they produce because the demand is equal to it. That's the point in general where businesses want to be. In most cases, not all cases, but in most cases, that's where businesses want to be. Because if businesses are producing more than is being demanded, that would be this zone up here. So the amount, we pick a price, we'll say $10. If the price is $10, then the quantity demanded, we'll make it up, will be 15, and the quantity supplied will be 30. What you have in that situation is the amount of supply is greater than the demand. So suppliers are left with a bunch of extra. This is called a surplus. It's a surplus. There is more goods or services quantity than there is goods or services being demanded. Cool. Now down here, you have the opposite. I'm going to make up some numbers again. Let's say if the price is $5, we'll follow that line across, then the amount being supplied is 15, and the amount being demanded is 30. And what that says is that you have a shortage because more of the product is being demanded than is being supplied. It's like when a store runs out of something. You're seeing that nowadays a lot with hand sanitizer and toilet paper, fresh vegetables. There is a shortage because there is more demand than there is supply. Cool. That equilibrium point is basically where an organization wants to be. Today, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to shift both the demand and the supply lines. So here we go. Let's pretend we're talking about hand sanitizer, and we're going to say that consumers expect that hand sanitizer is going to sell out, right? That's what's happening now. People expect that they won't be able to buy hand sanitizer. So if they expect that they won't be able to get it later, the consumers are going to demand more of it now, which means that the demand curve is going to shift to the right. And I might actually change this. I might go 1 and 2. First situation, second situation. The demand is going to shift to the right because of consumer expectations. Sweet. Now let's look at supply. We're going to say that this is the amount people are willing, or producers are willing to supply, but suppliers realize that they can make a lot of money on hand sanitizer right now because a lot of people are buying it. So their supply curve is going to shift to the right. Suppliers are going to be more willing to produce their good or service because they think they can make more money. They expect they can make more money and sell more of these things. Now, we need to label the equilibrium. And the equilibrium point is going to be labeled here twice. Our first situation is going to be the intersection of demand 1 and supply 1. And that's going to be labeled EQ1, equilibrium point 1. And what that shows is that at a particular price, this is the quantity, this is the equilibrium, the amount that will be produced and the same amount that will be demanded. Now you have a new situation. People expect that they're not going to be able to buy hand sanitizer, so demand shifts to the right. Suppliers realize that they can make more money, so supply itself shifts to the right. And now you're going to have a new equilibrium point, and that's going to be at the intersection of D1 and D2 and S2. Demand 2, supply 2. And that's going to be labeled EQ2. Great. So what has happened to that equilibrium point? It has shifted to the right. And it's gone up a little based off my drawing, which means suppliers are going to be able to produce more and sell more. If that's the direction that suppliers want the equilibrium point to go, because then they're selling more products and therefore making more money. So let's go to the work you're going to do today. I've posted this on the website. So basically what I've done is I've given you 2 headlines for each of these boxes, and those headlines are how you're going to change this graph. So for instance, the first column has all of the headlines, the second column is the graph that you're going to create, and then the third column is going to be your explanation. In this first one, I've said that the price of beef has decreased. We're talking about burritos, and that's going to affect the supply of burritos. And the decrease in the price of beef is going to make the supply of burritos increase, because now producers will go, oh, we can make more money. So I drew that shift of the supply curve to the right. That's right here. And then I have a headline for demand. The population of Summit County increases. All right, well, if more people are coming here, what's going to happen to demand for something like burritos? It's going to increase. So then I drew it increasing. I labeled EQ1, EQ2. And then I explained what happened. What you all need to do is you need to select this, copy it, that's Control-C, and then Control-V, paste it here. And you're going to need to change this for the new situation, which is cars. And then you can shift all of these lines. You can move the arrow and make it go the opposite. You can move this over here. You can change your equilibrium points. But the point is that you're going to have to produce a map and an explanation for each. This is obviously wrong. All right, good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.